And tonight, we're going to be having a conversation with partners. Enough is enough. And we'll have a quick chat with Michael Showunmi, a social entrepreneur and a founder of the Rising Star Africa, to discuss the hashtag One Person Champion of Inclusion. If we do have Michael right now, it would be great for us to have that conversation. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening.
All right, so a quick one. I'd like you to run us through what, this champion and inclusion has been about.
Okay, so I am a social entrepreneur. I run a nonprofit called Rising Star Africa, and we help children with disabilities to become self-reliant so that they can contribute their own quota to society. So for us, it's just all about changing the narrative about disability. It's counter-narrative of the stereotype that we have about disability in Nigeria or in Africa at large. So what we do is basically provide access to education, skill empowerment, community learning, awareness, and advocacy. So the end goal is that they become self-reliant and then become contributors to the society, unlike the normal stigma or the stereotype that person with disability are receivers, they are beggars. So we are trying to change the narrative by empowering each child or each person with disability to give back to their society. Yeah.
All right. Just before I hand you over to Norma or Franca, how can we create more opportunities that will enable young people with disability in Nigeria to achieve financial independence, looking at the current situation that we are faced with as a country?
Okay, so how you can help for financial independence is first of all by making everything accessible for persons with disability, because one of the major criteria for persons with disability is accessibility. That is very, very important, because if anything is not accessible, then we are not going anywhere. We can't go out. So I put out a poll last week about on Twitter and saying that persons with disability share your plight with me at this current economic season that we are. And most of them were saying bad business, you can't go out, transportation. So those are the issue for persons with disability. In terms of transportation, in terms of their business, it's not moving. Why? Because if a normal person can be struggling in this kind of economy, then what do you expect for a person with disability? So the way to help them is providing accessibility and also supporting them in terms of motivation. It is necessary. We all need motivation at this part. I need motivation, honestly. Okay. So imagine so many people with disability out there. We need to motivate them. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Michael. So what I want to ask is, how do you pick the people who come to you? As in, how do you get the people you're helping? Is there a way to reach you? How well do people know that there's something like this, at least in Nigeria?
Okay, I think that is two questions in one. How do you get the people you are helping? And
yes.
The way to reach me.
Yes.
So how we get the people? It's not that we know where they stay. So what we do is that we look for them, we search for them.
Okay.
Community. So we have different community stakeholders that we speak to, that we engage about persons with disabilities in their community. So with time, we started in 2020, and then it was difficult for the first year or for the first 2 years. But with time, especially through our association with schools, with local government, we started getting more of these beneficiaries, and then it becomes very easy. So we are in contact with the parents, with the local government, with the school community. So okay. we have access to them. So it's not like before that we struggle to have access to them. So now we have access to them, and it is easier to help them in terms of if there's any intervention that needs to be done. We always reach out to them. And how people can reach me, I'm on every social media as Michael Showunmi or Michael Showunmi. On LinkedIn, I'm Michael Showunmi. And on Instagram, Michael Showunmi.
Okay. All right, so just quick one. We have Norma who's going to be asking you the next question.
All right. It's good to have you, Michael. I wanted to ask how we can actually normalize disability, because it almost feels like once you're disabled, you're incapable of achieving much in life. But we've seen situations where even in advanced countries where we've had presidents becoming who are disabled people. So it's not, so how do we begin to normalize disability in our society? And how can the government actually do much more? Again, I'll use countries outside of Africa. We have people, I mean, there are sort of things to facilitate helping aid. We have ramps in buildings. In fact, there are regulations to ensure that these things are put in place. So how can we also get the government to become accountable and begin to pay attention to the strength that disability can offer?
Okay, so I think the first question is how can we, sorry, I forgot, I'm so sorry.
I said, how can we normalize?
Okay, yeah. So how can we normalize disability? So this is part of what we do in terms of awareness. Awareness cannot be overemphasized. So we need to make people, we need to create awareness as much as possible. So one thing that needs to change is for you to see that disability is a social identity. It's not me actually, but it's my social identity. I'm a person with disability. That is because I cannot walk. I'm using crutches. So you describe me as a person with disability. So you can see the social identity. It is not me. So what I used to tell people is that see the person before you see the disability. So when you see the person, you kind of look at the abilities of the person before even seeing that disability. So that's change. It reorientates your mind and see the abilities and the person instead of the disability.
Thank you so much. I'm really sorry, but we have to go. We'll definitely have this conversation some other time. That's much that we can take. Thank you so much, Michael Showunmi, for being part of the show tonight. We do appreciate you.